Okay, we're up to Rosh Hashana morning. Okay, the night we finished, by the way, in benching, because it's Shabbos and Rosh Hashana, you have to say Ritzei and Yalav Yovei, and so on. Okay, now, Shachris is Shachris of Yom Tif with the Shemon Esrei of Rosh Hashana. The difference is, normally during the year by Nishmas we say Hamelach Hayeshiv al Kisei Ram V'Nisa, the king who sits on his exalted throne. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur we say Hamelach Yoshev al Kisei Ram V'Nisa, not Hayeshiv but Yoshev. So the difference is simply in the meaning of the words. Hayeshiv means he sits. Generally speaking, he sits. Generally speaking. On Shabbos, we say Hashem generally sits on his throne. But on Rosh Hashanah, when Hashem is being proclaimed as king, so we say Hamelach Yeshev is actually sitting now on his exalted throne because we're coronating him as king. So that's why we don't say Hamelach HaYeshev like we do the whole year, but we say Hamelach Yeshev. Okay, now this year, the first day of Yom Tif, there's no Avinu Malkeinu because it's Shabbos. So therefore, that's omitted. It'll be Friday, but basically, Shabbos morning, Shabbos to Mincha, there's no Avinu Malkeinu because Shabbos we don't say Avinu Malkeinu. Next is like this. So Avinu Malkeinu we don't say. Halal we don't say on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It says in Shofar because they're Yemei Din, the days of judgment. So you don't say in the Halal, you're praising Hashem for everything. You don't say that on the day of Yemei Din. And like it says, the books of life and death are open in front of Hashem. And we're going to sing praise to Hashem. You just don't do that. Okay, now Torah reading. There's two Sefer Teiros. The first one this year we're going to read 7 aliyahs because it's Shabbos, and then you have Maftir. But when you take out the Sefer Torah, we say Hashem Hashem. After so before we say Berich Shmei, we say, as it says in the Machzor, Hashem Hashem 3 times. And the din is, even if it's Shabbos, regular Yom Tif, when it falls out on Shabbos, we don't say Hashem Hashem Karachum V'chanu. But Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when it falls on Shabbos, then it says in the Machzor that we do say Hashem Hashem 3 times at one time, with the special Rebbeinu Shalom that we say, and then Berich Shmei. Now, the stamp, interesting halacha. No, you take out 2 Sefer Torah. Why do you take out 2 Sefer Torah? Because the Kriya is in 2 different places. In fact, the Kriya of the first day and the second day is in the Chumash Bereshis, and Maftir is in the book of Bamidbar in Parshas Pinchas. So it's like, and the din is you're not supposed to roll a Sefer Torah in public. Why? Because it's called Tircha de Tzibura. You're wasting the community's time. It could have been done before. But what happens if you're in a place where there's only 1 Sefer Torah? There's only 1 Sefer Torah. So then the din is like this. After you read the first 7 aliyahs this year, Shabbos, or 5 if it wouldn't be Shabbos, you say Chatzi Kaddish, half Kaddish, and then you roll the Sefer. You have no choice. Then you have to roll the Sefer to the place of Maftir. But you don't do it before Kaddish, because generally there's not supposed to be any separation between the last aliyah, the last bracha, and the saying of the Kaddish. So you don't even do it. We don't even bench Goimel in between. The Rebbe was very, very strict about this. You don't bench Goimel, you don't make a Mishabah. After the last aliyah, the guy says, half Kaddish, that should be done right away. Then you could do whatever you want. What? A little louder.
You only have 1 Sefer Torah. Rather than rolling into the place after the Kaddish, can you read from a book? You can't read from a book.
Reading from a book is not kosher. It has to be from parchment, the proper halachos of a Sefer Torah which is written. Now, there's another interesting din. What happens it's not relevant to Rosh Hashanah. It can never happen. It can happen in Simchas Torah. It can happen a few times a year when you take out 3 Sefer Torahs. So what's the din if you need to take out 3 Sefer Torahs, but you only have 2? Okay? So you lane in the first one, then you lane in the second one. Now from which one do you lane the third one? Do you read it, do you roll the first one, or do you roll the second one? What? No, see, that's interesting. You don't do it which one's closer. In Shulchan Aruch, Rama writes, at the end of the laws of Simchas Torah, Rama writes, you roll the first Sefer Torah. So in other words, even though the second one might be closer, you roll the first Sefer Torah. That's if you need 3 Sefer Torahs and you only have 2. Okay, now, in fact, in halacha it says that ideally the Chatan should get an aliyah, the Baal Tekeh should get an aliyah, but it says clearly in halacha that in a place where you sell the aliyahs, you go by the sale. You don't necessarily have to give somebody just because they're the Baal Tekeh or the Chazan, it doesn't matter. If you sell aliyahs, you sell the aliyahs. You want to say, okay, now, Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur in the Ashkenazi community is a separate trop that you lane in the Kriya. It's not the regular, Shabbos, what is called the trop. You don't read the regular Shabbos trop. It's special Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur trop. But our meaning is that for Maftir, not Haftarah, for the one you're reading in Torah, in the second Sefer Torah, that you read the regular way. You read the regular way. And the same thing on Yom Kippur, Maftir, you read the regular way, and even to Mincha, Yom Kippur, you don't read it with the Yom Kippur trop, you read it with the regular trop, just the actual Kriya in the morning. Because that's not special Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. I didn't see a reason, but that's the minhag l'perl.
What if the shul has only one sefer, one Torah?
No. So you roll it. You have no choice.
It's doable, you don't need 2 sefer Torah.
I mean, if somebody can have 2, it's better, obviously. But what happens in a situation, shul has 1 Sefer Torah. That's what they have, so they keep rolling it. There's no choice. Okay, next. Okay, the first day of Rosh Hashanah this year, there's no tkiyas. Okay, but we have to learn the dinim of tkiyas shofar. Is very important. Now, there's in the blowing of the shofar in Rosh Hashanah, give an introduction to the not only the dinim involved, but the general thing. We blow shofar before Musaf. Then we blow shofar in the repetition of the Shemoneh Esrei. That everybody does. If you have a minyan, you blow in the repetition of the Shemoneh Esrei. According to Kabbalah, and this like Nusach Ashkenaz doesn't do, but according to Kabbalah, you blow also during the quiet Amidah. During the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, we also blow. So we blow Tkiyas before Musaf, Tkiyas in the repetition, in the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, and Tkiyas in the repetition. At the end, we blow another 10 by Enkel Keno. We blow another 10. So what is it? You have altogether, you have 30 before Musaf, 30 in the repetition, and 30 in the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, 30 in the repetition, and then another 10 at the end of Davening. Okay? Now, that's according to Kabbalah, you blow 100 sounds of the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. Why? Because it has to do with the 10 powers. Each one's composed of 10, so 10 times 10 is 100. So shofar covers all the koiches and all the sfiras and everything else. But the tkiyas that we do before Musaf are called in halacha tkiyas miyushav, the sitting tkiyas. The tkiyas we do during the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, in the repetition, they're called tkiyas mu'umad. They're called the standing tkiyas. Why are they called sitting tkiyas and standing tkiyas? Because according to halacha, the sitting tkiyas before Musaf, technically, everybody's allowed to sit. Just the blower has to stand. Nobody does, everybody stands today. But halachically, when they blow the shofar before Musaf, the main shofar blowing, so for the brachas, everybody has to stand. Then, technically, everybody's allowed to sit, except the guy that blows, out of respect to the community. So you have to... What?
The Rebbe used to blow the shofar, please?
Only
Himself.
the Musha that I blew, yeah. Okay, so then, that's one difference between Tkiyas Miyumid and Tkiyas Miyushav. Okay? Another difference in halacha is, Tkiyas Miyushav, it says the custom is to blow from the place you lane, and Tkiyas Miyumid, not necessarily. During Shemana Esrei, you could be anywhere and blow. You don't have to be, the minig is, you don't have to be, you could be by the, you don't have to be by the shulchan. But then there's another difference in Shulchan. This is in 3 different places in Shulchan. But the third difference between Tkiyas Miyumid and Tkiyas Miyushav is when we blow Shvarim Teruah, do you make a slight break between the Shvarim and the Teruah, or do you go straight? Do you take a breath and make a break, or do you go straight? Tkiyas Miyushav, the minig is, we blow Shvarim Teruah together. In the Mu'ummad, in the standing word, the Shemana Esrei ones, then we blow them Tkiyas Shvarim, slight break, Teruah, and then you go that way. So those are the 3 differences between Tkiyas Miyushav and Tkiyas Mu'ummad. Tkiyas Miyushav, you could sit. Tkiyas Mu'ummad, you have to stand. Tkiyas Miyushav, you blow from the shulchan. Tkiyas Mu'ummad, you don't have to. And the third difference is, in the Shvarim Teruah, do you blow them together or don't you blow them together?
The break is just a breath.
Just a breath.
Even in Yushav, you make a little break, no?
I make a little break, but it's one hemshech. It's not like a stop.
You don't take a break.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the difference. Now,
The last addition.
the last 30 you blow like Tkiyas Miyushav. Like together. Blow Shvarim Teruah together. What?
The person outside of the shul and heard the shofar. All the windows are closed, the Rosh is still good. Let's say you heard the shofar.
If he heard it, yeah. Because normally the din is the blower has to have everybody in mind, and the listener has to have everybody in mind. Right? Has to have in mind that he wants to be Yaitze. But once a guy is blowing in shul, he doesn't think about every single person. He is in mind that whoever hears it is Yaitze. So therefore, a guy walking by the shul, but I'll tell you where there will be a difference. What happens, I go to somebody's house to blow shofar. Okay, and I know I'm blowing for this particular guy. Then a guy happens to be walking by in the street, just walking by, so he wouldn't be Yaitze. Because I didn't have him in mind. I only had this particular guy in mind. A guy that's blowing in public has everybody in mind. Like a guy stops in the middle of the street and blows shofar for a lot of people. So whoever hears it, hears it. You know, I mean, what? You could blow shofar for one person, have in mind if anybody else hears it, they could be Yaitze. Like if you go to a hospital, let's say, to blow for somebody. So you're blowing for one particular person, but it's possible, maybe other people are listening to it. So you have in mind, whoever wants to hear it, you could hear it. What?
And also by saying you do Shofar together?
Yeah. Because you blow Tkiyas Miyushav. We'll get there. What's the minimal amount of miftzahim that you have to blow? Now, why? We'll just start this because it's later. We have Tkiya, Shvarim, Teruah, Tkiya. Okay? Why do we blow? If you look in Chumash, it doesn't say that. It says, Vavartam Shofar Teruah. Blow a Teruah. Okay? You blow a Teruah. The Torah says 3 times the word Teruah. So from there we learn you need to blow 3 times Teruah. Then the Gemara learns out from Yovel, Yom Kippur of Yovel, that it has to be a long one before and a long one after. That means what we call Tkiya. Okay, with Skatan. So, according to the Torah, you have to blow Tkiya, Teruah, Tkiya 3 times. So biblically, you're Yaitze when you blow 9 times. Tkiya, Teruah, Tkiya. What's the problem? And this is a pele in itself. It's a wonder within himself. But it says in halacha, because of the extent of Golus, people forgot what does a teruah mean? They forgot. So now, teruah can mean one of three things. It can mean what we mentioned this in the morning mechzes. Teruah could be what we call teruah, or it could be a shavarim. And what's the difference? Halacha is discussing, is it a person moaning and groaning like a sick person, or is it like a baby crying, or is it both together? So in other words, according to one opinion, what does teruah mean? Like a person kvetching, right? Groaning and moaning. That's what we call shvarim. Or if it's a baby crying, it's like a teruah, like a baby cries. Or maybe it's both together. So because Shofar is biblical, so we cover all the grounds. We blow tekiah, shvarim, teruah, tekiah 3 times, tekiah, shvarim, tekiah 3 times, tekiah, teruah, tekiah 3. This is mitzvah halacha, not mitzvah kabbalah. Kabbalah is a completely different story.
One question.
What's that? What did you want?
So we know that tekiah is for sure not.
Tekiah is tekiah. That we know. What?
So when you do shvarim teruah, why don't they do teruah shvarim also? In case it's like, how do they know that which one goes first?
Which one goes first? That doesn't matter.
No.
Because you blow anyway, tekiah, shvarim,
Oh, because you're doing both of them together.
you do all the sets, yes.